Forgive us, please, if we feel very emotional, because that's our boy. They're breaking ranks, the Union Jacks are waving, and Nigel Mansell wins the 1992 British Grand Prix in terrific style. Go, go, go! And it's happened immediately! This is amazing! Oh my goodness, this is fantastic! Yeah, look at that! Brilliant! Absolutely brilliant! 3.36 seconds! There we are, folks. I'm back.
Magny-Cours in France is where the Grand Prix season starts to get to its middle summer saucy fun. Because here at the French Grand Prix, they not only have the Williams and the Ligier team support, they also have Jean Alesi in the Ferrari. But here, what we're most interested in is who is going to go and take the compromise in the World Championship. Will it be Ayrton Senna? Will it be Michael Schumacher? Or could Britain's own Damon Hill get himself in the mix? When you break down how we are after 6 rounds, Schumacher has a lead over Ayrton Senna. Damon Hill is creeping up there in 3rd place. Alesi, the hometown hero, finds himself in 4th ahead of Berger and Hakkinen. In terms of the constructors, Williams are on top. Benetton have a job to follow, but they seem to be putting all their resources into Schumacher. Obviously look out for the likes of Ferrari and McLaren, who seem to be battling over 3rd place. Well, qualifying was a wonderful experience here in Magny-Cours, and it'll be the delight of everyone back home in Blighty that Damon Hill was on pole position, and Jean Alesi with that stunning lap, snatching 2nd place of Ayrton Senna by 0.4 of a second. Michael Schumacher remains in 4th place ahead of Mika Hakkinen and Gerhard Berger that make up the 3rd row. Heinz Harald Frentzen with an excellent performance ahead of a really impressive Rubens Barrichello on row 4. Jos Verstappen, a better improvement for him in the Benetton. He qualifies 9th ahead of the other Jordan, driven by Eddie Irvine. Martin Brundle in the McLaren is 11th ahead of Eric Bernard in the Ligier, and Andre De Cesaris in the Sauger is ahead of Uko Katayama. Luigi Martini will go ahead and take 15th place in the Minardi, and Olivier Parnes, the other Frenchman here, is in 16th. Eric Comas is finding himself in 17th ahead of Marc Blundell, who is in 18th. Christian Fittipaldi in the Footwork Arrows, so does Michele Arboreto in the Minardi, and Gianni Morbidelli is ahead of Olivier Beretta, and those are the 22 drivers on the grid for today's French Grand Prix. So you're looking at Damon Hill on the left. You're also looking at Jean Alesi in the right. Magny-Cours, the French crowd here are absolutely loving this. Listen to the engines roaring at the moment. Red lights, we're waiting for it to go green, and we are going to be racing. Yes, we are at the French Grand Prix. It's a fantastic start by Damon Hill. John Alesi got away brilliantly, and I suspect Michael Schumacher might have just got the jump at the moment. Yes, he has. It's side by side at the moment alongside Ayrton Senna. Berger has jumped ahead of Mika Hakkinen as well. So Senna in the Special Williams is down into 4th place. Schumacher is up to 3rd. There is Gerhard Berger now looking to make a move, and Hakkinen is standing on the outside, and Senna's got to go left. And that was Frentzen breaking late coming in. Hakkinen has come in and on the inside takes Gerhard Berger away, and so confirmed Damon Hill is off and lead. Jean Alesi is 2nd. Michael Schumacher is 3rd. Brilliant start by there. Ayrton Senna in the Williams is 4th. Mika Hakkinen in the McLaren is 5th, and Gerhard Berger is 6th. And if you were a French motor racing fan, what a start. Damon Hill off into the lead. Jean Alesi 2nd, and it was a brilliant start by Damon Hill, wasn't it?
Yes, he got some excellent traction off the line and got into the lead, and he's built himself a nice gap. And the French fans obviously going wild for a Lacey to be in second place, but it's French power at the front, French driver in second, and then you've got Schumacher, who's managed to get ahead of Senna, which is big for the championship, behind, rounding off the podium.
Exactly, of course, Schumacher looking to preserve his lead at the moment over Ayrton Senna, but Damon Hill know that if he could win here today and win well, then he could be potentially looking for challenge it. But look at just how much quicker at the moment Michael Schumacher is running. He's already caught up. It looks like he's catching up on the gearbox on that Ferrari at the moment. So the question here we're going to have to ask everybody is how is Jean Alesi going to keep a very motivated, and with the red mist and the steel between his teeth, Michael Schumacher, the young German, can keep him behind. But so far our French producers are keeping us around McLaren and Gerhard Berger. So this is the battle for 5th place at the moment that you are watching, and already we can see that yes, the McLaren itself has made some improvements, French car, but it won't be able to make too many improvements because Berger just having a look in the Ferrari, trying to make a move, but in the end Hacken holding off. But it just shows you that McLaren engine is underpowered so far this season.
It is indeed, and he's having to defend really well here. It's not the widest track, Magny-Cours. You can take a very defensive line, and Häkkänen's doing that really well, but that Peugeot engine, French as it might be here at its home Grand Prix, is still underpowered compared to the V12 of the Ferrari, certainly.
Well, the V12 of the Ferrari can certainly sing, and this is Michael Schumacher! Oh, we're just trying to look. That was really, really good work by Jean Alesi, just cutting off Schumacher as he tried to make a move at the moment, and Alesi's holding him off. The gap is down to 0.2 of a second. In motor racing terms, it could be more, half a mile. In realistic terms, it's not a lot at all that you'd have driving your Sierra or so forth down on the A14, but at the moment Schumacher is sitting right behind Jean Alesi. But the big thing in battle of this is that the more this race goes on, the more this is going to benefit Damon Hill, who really is starting to go away, and Schumacher's trying to have a go into the inside. Oh, he backed off at the last second there, Jean Alesi. Well, was that too aggressive there?
Well, he's defending his line well. He's giving him a lot of space. Oh, there's a car off at the side there. It's Bernardi, I think.
Yeah, Eric Bernard. Eric Bernard's out of the race with transmission problems.
Eric Bernard, sorry, it only flashed across my screen just for a split second. And yes, Alesi's doing incredibly well. Obviously, he's got the benefit of good straight line speed, which helps a little bit on the circuit, but he's just having to make that Ferrari as wide as possible in the corners, because that Benetton is very nimble.
Well, this is the section where Schumacher, and he's trying to have a go again and go round the outside, and once again Jean Alesi cuts him off, and it's also allowed Ayrton Senna, who has been struggling this season in that Williams Renault, to catch up. So the battle for second place has suddenly turned into 3 cars, and Alesi again is having to work overtime, and you can see him coming out of the corner there. Schumacher knows his moment is just the case at the moment. Perhaps it is the V12 power that's just allowing Alesi to pull away from the Ford-powered V8 Benetton.
Yes, very much so. Obviously the V8 is a bit lighter, so in the corners he's certainly got a bit more go about him, but when it comes to the straight line, the Ferrari can just stretch its legs and just about get enough distance between itself and Schumacher. Of course, braking wise, Benetton can brake later than the heavier Ferrari, so if he's going to get him, it'll be on a late lunge up the inside on a corner if he can get close enough. But obviously Senna is approaching, and he's going to be picking up a toe down these straights, so he'll be getting ever closer the longer Schumacher's stuck behind him.
Well, confirmation of the top 6. It is Hill, Alesi, it is Schumacher, then of course we've got Senna in 4th place, and then the battle between Häkkinen and Berger is going on, and now Schumacher is just trying to go, and that's the turning point. Didn't quite have enough, but he's all around the gearbox, and the French crowd, and rightfully so, are jumping for joy at this phenomenal performance from this French Formula 1 driver. So much promise, and still yet to get a win at the moment in Formula 1. Jean Alesi, I remember him in his Tyrrell causing Ayrton Senna a lot of problems a few years ago at Phoenix, and now we're on board with the race leader Damon Hill, who was starting to march off into the distance. He had an impeccable qualifying performance today. He set the fastest lap in racing terms, he is on for the Grand Slam as he starts to move away at the moment from second place John Lacey, a driver that has been criticised for rash performances, but he really has looked assured here at what is effectively Williams-Renault's second home Grand Prix this season.
It is indeed, and as you can see down the straights, that Ferrari just about having enough legs on it to stay in front of the Benetton. But yes, Damon, if things stay as they are, he'll be gaining even more ground on second and first in the championship. So this could be a big result for him if Schumacher doesn't improve.
Well, and we haven't even started to talk about pit stops, as once again Schumacher tries to make a move. He's trying to get round that long sweeping right-hander, but each time John Lacey knows what's happening and is able to stop it. And at this point here, I think the Benetton's just struggling to keep up in power terms with the Ferrari driven by Lacey. But here's another man at the moment who was hoping for a much better start to the championship than he had, but Senna's two-race comeback's been very special. Wins at Monaco and of course wins again in Spain, and he can see the battle ahead of him, but for some reason he just cannot quite find what he needs from the Williams-Renault to keep up with them this weekend.
Yes, he just can't quite get in the tow. These two are battling tooth and nail, and again, look, you can see the power on the straights. The Ferrari just pulls out a bit of a gap, and then Schumacher catches up in the corners. So it really is a track that's playing both to the strengths and weaknesses of both cars.
Well, the battle for fifth place has taken a turn. Mika Häkkinen has dropped down to 9th place at the moment, and Schumacher again tries to have a move, and once again John Lacey comes across. But in that battle as well, it's down to Jos Verstappen, the Benetton teammate of Michael Schumacher, to move into 6th place. So there's one more World Championship point for a Benetton team that is hoping to still challenge for the Constructors' Championship, although the odds in the favour at the moment seem to be with Williams, with both Hill and Senna always finishing so consistently in the top 3 or 4 of every race at the moment.
Yes, well, it's what Benetton have been saying. They need their second drive to start scoring points, and if they can indeed have 2-point scorers here today, that would help them in the Constructors, but they can't keep leaning on Michael to try and win them that title, because it is a team sport after all, and they need a result from the other driver as well.
Well, in the third checkpoint of the race at the moment, Schumacher was 3/10 as opposed to 2/10 behind John Lacey, as we're watching Rubens Barrichello with an engine problem bow out of the French Grand Prix in the Jordan. So with a special livery today of Ireland 1, Italy 0, which I'm sure Eddie Jordan had sheer delight in putting on. But this is Schumacher again. Now, it's this Schumacher's moment, and once again, Jean Lacey shuts the door. And if you're Michael Schumacher at the moment, you must be absolutely furious at the fact that you cannot get past him around that corner, and Jean Lacey is consistently always closing the door.
Yes, it'll be a bit frustrating, but this will be the part where the team perhaps have to make a strategy call. Maybe they undercut them, perhaps, or they stay out a bit longer, because that Benetton clearly in the corners is a lot faster than the Ferrari, but the straight line speed of the V12 engine that it's got in the back is clearly just about enough to give it an edge, certainly in racing circumstances. I'm not sure about over 1-lap pace, but yes, it's a great equaliser, that V12, on these long straight bits.
And indeed, I'm looking at the latest times which are coming through at the moment. I confirm that Gerhard Berger is catching Ayrton Senna. So Gerhard Berger is entering the battle as they go through the final corner, the very, very start to the point. And Damon Hill has come into the pits, and we're watching him at the moment. Let's look at the time, bottom right, don't focus on anything else. 5.8 seconds is a very quick stop. So the Williams strategists have decided this is the time to come in for Damon Hill. We'll watch where he comes out at the moment, sitting at the moment in 5th place, and he's got to be pleased with that. Damon Hill in 5th place, ahead of Olivier Panis, who is in 6th. Jos Verstappen's come in, so it now means Lacey is first. And listen to the roar from the French crowd at the moment, as a French driver is leading the French Grand Prix. This is magnificent at the moment.
Yes, the crowd up on their feet for this one, especially with their driver having to fight to keep the lead. It's an exciting prospect, and if they can get some good lap times on the board whilst Damon is warming his tyres up, they might have a chance of coming out ahead of him when he makes his stop. Although the fact that these two are fighting constantly, it's only slowing them down, really. Although Senna hasn't really been able to make up the difference.
No, well, we'll have to watch here because this is the opportunity for someone to potentially think about coming into the pits at the moment. Schumacher is standing right behind him. Michael Schumacher is coming into the pits, so we've got to watch this as well. And I think watching it, yes, confirm. I believe Ayrton Senna is also coming in. So let's watch Michael Schumacher's time. They've gone early. Does this allow John Alesi to move forwards and try and set some fast times? Let's watch Michael Schumacher's pit. There is Ayrton Senna, who's also into the pits. We're watching the time at the moment. Damon Hill got 5.8 seconds, 6.2 seconds, and look at that! Senna has flown out right behind the gate, and these two championship rivals are going to come out the pits nose to tail on one another at the moment.
Well, that was a slow stop from Benetton. They're coming out, oh, just in traffic as well. That's not going to help Ayrton Senna at all, having that car in between. But goodness me, and he's got a McLaren all over his gearbox too.
Yep, Martin Brundle.
But, a great pit stop from the Williams team to get him out closer to Schumacher, but the traffic may be an issue. Oh goodness, that was close.
Oh well, there you go. I mean, this is the same move that's been put on by Alesi at the moment as these 1994 cars themselves just struggling to find a bit of traction, and that's given Schumacher away. And I think had it been the case that Ayrton Senna had been able to get past the back marker, then he may have been able to potentially chase down Schumacher, but right now he's stuck behind. But there is traffic, and where there's traffic there's opportunities, and we've seen so many races this season that traffic's been a factor in this. I remember when we were down at the San Marino Grand Prix in particular, as Senna still tries to find the way at the moment. Surely he's going to have enough here. He hasn't. Schumacher has got through again, and Schumacher has ahead of him the Sauber to get past. So into the start-finish straight final chicane area. Oh, a lock up from Eddie Jordan in the heart, and Schumacher is forced to brake heavily. So Senna, and that's why, because Senna is past. There, of course, is Schumacher. That, of course, flying past is Eddie Jordan, and we are flying away at the moment. Eddie Irvine, as one should say. Eddie Irvine in the Jordan. But this is the man at the moment that everyone needs to watch. In third place is Damon Hill, who has come in and he pitted first. So he's got new fresh tyres. He must be thinking set some fast times and try and hang on to the end of the race from here.
Yes, well, Alesi's decision to stay out as well. He's avoided all that traffic, and with a bit of luck, he might well clear that traffic when he comes out after his pit stop. But he's driven magnificently well. I dare say he'll be driving a bit quicker now that he's not battling Michael Schumacher. I would expect him to pit soon, though, shortly, and he is. Here he comes. This is a pivotal moment. Ferrari need to have a good stop here to have a chance of coming out ahead of Schumacher.
So Gerhard Berger is going to go ahead into the lead of the French Grand Prix. But let's look at Jean Alesi's time at the moment. Damon Hill was the quickest at 5.8 seconds at the moment. That's Damon Hill going past now. So Damon Hill will come back into second place. Let's look at Jean Alesi's time at the moment. Long time getting into the pits. 5 seconds or anything. But under 6 is a quick stop at the moment. It's a really, really bad stop from the Ferrari mechanics, wherever they are. 7.2 seconds. Jean Alesi is coming out at the moment, so he's probably lost about a second or so, but in terms of the race at the moment, it's put him 6.1 seconds behind Damon Hill, who is in second place, and then Jean Alesi's teammate Gerhard Berger. Well, he is the man at the moment that is flying through, and I believe right behind him, that's Michael Schumacher trying to get past Eddie Irvine. So yes, it is Eddie Irvine in fourth place at the moment. There's Schumacher, and Schumacher knows. Oh, he locks up there at the moment, right behind Irvine. Surely has to find a way to get past him. But there's also brought Senna involved at the moment in sixth place. And this French Grand Prix has suddenly burst into life at the moment. And we've got to come in and commend some brilliant tactical nuance by Ferrari to hang on, to go longer into the race. They've called it perfectly. And as a result, Jean Alesi seems to have escaped the battle at the moment and the threat of Michael Schumacher.
He has, and it's worked out well for Senna. He's a bit closer to Michael as well, so for everyone but Michael Schumacher, it's worked out really well in terms of traffic and pit stops. But of course, I expect Eddie Irvine to pit. Is Schumacher going to make a lunge? No, he doesn't. He's got to switch to the outside, as Eddie might be looking to pit now, and I think he is. Look at that, he's slowing them both up.
And this may be an opportunity at the moment for Ayrton Senna to make us opportunities. So you have first and second in the championship as we approach the halfway mark at the moment. Steadily, Schumacher is second. It is a straight fight now between the two at the moment to settle this. And Senna, who we're watching at the moment, has Michael Schumacher in front of him. Can he find enough pace? They've lost a lot of time compared to Damon Hill, who's shot off into the distance. And now this is had left at the moment that Schumacher, I think, may have just been able to pull away slightly. Geoff Verstappen in the other Benetton is in 6th place. So Verstappen himself is getting some more points of Benetton that will be useful. It's just one, but as we've known in Formula 1, every point counts. The Formula 1 Championship was once settled by half a point 10 years ago. I wonder if we could see something similar, but this is Senna. It has not been his weekend, we can certainly agree that, as we're watching Michael Schumacher really fly off into this. And look at that difference in speed through that corner. Schumacher hitting 117 and Senna, his best is 165, but there was 164. So that Benetton is 6 mile an hour quicker, but that makes all the difference, doesn't it, in Formula 1?
It might not sound like a lot in the grand scheme of things, but 6 miles an hour really does make a massive difference over lap times, and to be able to go that quickly through a corner, obviously, again, it could be a weight difference thing. The obviously V8 of Benetton and a V10 in the Williams Renault, so weight could be an issue. It could also be an aero setup. We're not really sure. Senna's not had the best of times here so far, and he's just losing a bit of time to Michael each lap, and that 6 miles an hour will build up over time.
Well, Gerhard Berger, he's on fresh tyres and he's setting faster lap times at the moment than John Alesi, who's in 2nd place. So the question here is, what about team orders? Do Ferrari go ahead and allow their 2 drivers to race? It looks like Berger's going to catch in the next 2 or 3 laps. So will they say and allow Berger to race Alesi, or would it be a case of allow Alesi to take maximum points at his home Grand Prix?
Yes, it's a difficult call to make. If you have the time, then you'd probably benefit the person who is at his home Grand Prix. I would like to think that, but if Berger's a lot quicker than Alesi, then that's who's that?
Eric Comas.
Eric Comas, his engine's blown up, or yep, he's just being moved out of the way. But yes, if Ferrari find that Berger's quicker than Alesi, they'll have a tricky call to make, because the French fans certainly won't like a team order to tell their driver to move out of the way. No,
but also Ferrari need to realise there are 10 Constructors' Championship points at stake at the moment, and any mistake and that would wipe out both drivers would be absolutely cataclysmic at the moment. Their new team principal, Jean Todt, trying to get this great team back into a competitive outing, because Ferrari, maybe since Alain Prost was there 5 years ago, they've really struggled at the moment, haven't they?
They have. They're certainly they went a different direction to everyone else. So certainly, I'll mention the V12 again. It's everyone's favourite game of bingo, I know, but they're the only team on the grid that went for the heavier but more powerful engine. Their aerodynamics, they're a little bit different to everyone else, so they've done their own thing, and it's not really worked this season. But if they get a result, 3rd and 4th, if both cars get across the line together, it's a really good result for them.
Well, that's one of the reasons. Jean Todt has said that's the reason for Ferrari's sort of decline in the last few years, is they have gone for heavier engines, everyone else has gone for lighter engines, and their drivers themselves are used to driving on the lighter engines, and now they've got the heavier engines.
Yes, and is there a move coming here from Berger? Oh, door slammed shut again by Alesi. He likes slamming that door on that corner. It's like he's got the measure of it by this point, but a team order should probably come across very shortly, I would imagine. Either stop racing or let the other one through. That's the only real choices they've got. Says with 5 laps to go, as you said, a crash between these two right now would be devastating for a great Ferrari effort today.
Well, let's remind you all that the race leader is Damon Hill, but you understand why our French TV producer at the moment is going to follow Jean Alesi in 2nd place. Gerhard Berger is 3rd, Michael Schumacher is 4th, Ayrton Senna is 5th, and Jos Verstappen is 6th. And at the moment, Schumacher, let's look at the timing. Yeah, it's still 7.1, 7.2 seconds. So that Benetton, which is always great in its first stint, is never the same in the 2nd stint at the moment. But Alesi himself at the moment is struggling at the moment to stay ahead of Gerhard Berger, who is really putting the pressure on at the moment. 10 years experience in Formula 1 at the moment, lap 17, and it really is a case of just 0.3 of a second celebrating her drivers. Does Alesi have a problem? Does he have to worry about fuel? Let's not forget that how hard he drove to stay ahead of Michael Schumacher. Could that be a factor? And could this be an opportunity? And Alesi once again shuts the door.
Yes, there could be many factors at play. He could have a bit more tyre degradation perhaps on his tyres. Fuel could be a problem. I will obviously point out as well that Schumacher was able to stick to Alesi earlier in the race. Of course, he was getting a tow, so the V8's lack of power in comparison was somewhat offset by the clean air that it was running through, essentially, or the dirty air. It punched a hole for him. Whereas he doesn't have that now, and he doesn't appear to be able to bridge the gap. And of course, these two cars identical in many ways, I believe. Of course, being both Ferraris. That's one of your lines, I think. We had saying they're both identical. But obviously, that engine has got to work less hard when it's in the tow of another car. So that's the minor difference. The main thing here is which driving line is best between these two, and Alesi's doing a great job of maintaining his position.
Well, John Alesi in second place, lap 18 at the moment. Gerhard Berger is in third place. 0.3 of a second celebrates both these cars. A reminder here that Damon Hill is still in first place and still leading at the moment the French Grand Prix. And now this is Berger. Does he have enough? And once again, Alesi is able to shut the door, as he always is. And it's Mika Häkkenen's out of the race. Mika Häkkinen is out of the race at the moment in the McLaren. And was that a distraction for Jean Alesi at the moment? Because Berger really has got within 1/10 of a second in that moment. Was that too much to see a car on that line? When cars stop on key points, does that affect your braking zone? Because Berger at the moment is as close as he's ever been.
Yeah, it could have taken his visual reference away, or it might have made him glance offline for a split second. It can be a distraction, and this might be the chance.
Well, Berger again, he's getting closer and closer and closer, and you wonder, is the case if they're going to allow these two teams to race? Either way, it has made for fantastic viewing at the moment of some people that are criticised at the moment. Formula One isn't quite the days of old. Today, though, we are seeing a brilliant race between these two Ferrari drivers at the top end of the race, and I'm sure that's something which all Formula One fans who know about the famous red cars would like to see. It's a confirmation at the moment. Damon Hill is 17 seconds ahead of Jean Alesi in second place. So barring a huge disaster and one go ahead and praise that does not happen, Damon Hill has got a long way ahead. We're on board with Gerhard Berger. We're listening to that V12. Can he make a move here? Oh, he might just do. Has he got enough? What a brilliant move this could be by Berger. And Berger, has he got it? Jean Alesi has to yield for half a second at the moment. Both Ferraris are side by side. This is fantastic now. Who's going to have the bigger steal? Just going late. Oh, brilliant! Brilliant from Jean Alesi. He went ahead and gambled. Brake lane has got through and got past Gerhard Berger with 2 laps remaining. That is one of the most fantastic bits of driving I've ever seen. That was fabulous from Jean Alesi. And it may not be, brilliant stuff.
Well, it was brave on the brakes from Alesi. Both front wheels locked ever so slightly, but he managed to keep it on the tarmac, and fantastic defence from Alesi. He would not yield his position. Of all places, he is not going to give up his position at the French Grand Prix, his home. And the French crowd absolutely loving that. But I tell you one man who did enjoy seeing that scrap in Michael Schumacher. He might just be able to pick up a bit of a tow now and gain on this one with a couple of laps to go.
Well, this is getting incredibly tight at the moment. The top 6 has not changed as Olivier Beretta here, though, bows out in the Lotus. But still reminding Jean Alesi's got Gerhard Berger behind him. A loose wheel, would you believe it? Who would have thought a loose wheel could affect the championship? But ever since that moment, Alesi's allowed to buy himself a bit of a gap. It's 4/10 ahead, so he's brought it back. But what we're on board with now is a man who has had the most impeccable race. Pole position, fastest lap, has led from start to finish. Damon Hill, thus far, has been magnificent today in Magny-Cours. Williams Renault, so there's a real French connection to them at the moment, and Damon Hill, much is said of him that we wish to see more from him this season, but Damon Hill will come across and we will take the checker flag and win the French Grand Prix in a brilliant performance, a race of real maturity for Damon Hill. who is a winner this afternoon, and we're following the battle between the two Ferraris. There is Berger, there is Alesi ahead of him, there's Schumacher behind him, second, third and fourth. You can shake a stick at how quick that was as well. Ayrton Senna coming through into 5th place at the moment. There he is, Ayrton Senna, 5th place. Will be pleased to get a couple more World Championship points after that finish at the moment as he slams on the brakes. And Jos Verstappen, credit to him, he's got ahead of French in the Sauber. He's drove in his socks off today. We've not seen much of him, but Verstappen comes home in 6th place in the other Benetton. Well, what a win by Damon Hill, and what it does to the championship standings. 10 points for him in a brilliant race. Alesi and Ferrari getting 10 points. Alesi getting 6, Berger 4. Brilliant performance. Disappointing afternoon for Schumacher and for Senna. And so much so, Damon Hill is now up to 2nd in the World Championship. Silverstone will be the next Grand Prix. Alesi brilliantly up to 3rd with a 5-point advantage. In terms of the constructors, Williams extend their lead over Benetton and Ferrari extend their advantage over McLaren. It looks like 3rd place is set for them. As for us, Grandstand will be live in a special Christmas edition for the British Grand Prix.
I've got a lump in my throat.